liberty, and justice for all.
Thank you.
Well, we're pleased to have our county supervisor and the chair of the supervisors here, Ms. Janice Rutherford, to do the oath of office for our recently elected again trustees, Ms. Berger and also Ms. Roberts. Ms. Rutherford, please come forward.
Going up there?
Yes. Please come here.
Yeah. Would it be loud enough? We should just do it here. Ladies, congratulations. It's a pleasure to be here again to swear you in to come back to Chaffey, a place that I love very much and have very strong attachment to. Are you going to do this together or are we going to do it separately?
No, we'll do it together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you will raise your right hand, I will administer the oath of office. To Kathleen R. Berger and Catherine J. Roberts. Please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign or domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
without mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
She said. And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the
duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Now, we've got paperwork to be signed. Ms. Rutherford, please.
Okay, and then when you're done with this meeting, come down to my office down at Haven and Arrow. We're having our Christmas party tonight. We've got Santa and cookies and
All right.
coast downhill.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, 14. Paul, I hate to see you, but you mind?
Thank you. Thank you.
A big rubber band.
I want to thank Supervisor Rutherford and Dr. Shannon for making sure that this took place today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We are now at the election of governing board officers, and I am going to nominate Lee McDougall for president of the governing board.
Second.
Thank you. Somebody. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Come on, Lee. Actually, I can just give you this. How's that?
I would like to, thank you. I'd like to nominate Gary George as vice president.
Second.
Second.
Moving second, any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Entertain a motion for,
I would like to nominate Katie Roberts as clerk of the governing board.
Second.
any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion Motion carries.
Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to nominate Mr. Gomez to be the person who attends all those other meetings.
I will second that.
San Bernardino County Committee on School District Organization.
Are there any further nominations? Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Before we move on.
It's okay.
I would like to present our outgoing president, Kathy Brooks, with these lovely flowers as a symbol thank you for her service as president of this board this past year on behalf of the district and the board, the students, faculty, and staff. We appreciate what you've done for us, and these flowers are totally well appreciated.
Thank you, thank you, thank you all. Whoops. No. What did I do wrong?
The alternate.
Yes.
Oh, we need an alternate representative to the San Bernardino County Committee on the School District Organization. We'll open the floor for nominations.
I'll move to nominate Mr. George.
Thank you.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll close the nomination. All in favor? Say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else we missed? All right. So we're at the point in the agenda, public comment. I'll ask any member of the public that wishes to speak or address the board. Hopefully you have filled out a speaker request card. If not, appreciate if you would do so. Also would like to remind everyone that there is a 3-minute speaking limit. And when you get to 3 minutes, if you get there, I will, as politely as possible, remind you of the time limitation, and hopefully you will abide by the policy that's been adopted by this board, and we appreciate your cooperation, and I thank you in advance. First card, in no particular order, in the order I received them, Nancy Yang, did I pronounce that right? Yang. Student concerns, speaking as a student.
Okay, sorry, I've never done this the first time, I'm a little nervous. Okay, there are a few principles that were outlined in the Student Services website on the Chaffey website, and a few of those principles are integrity. We value accountability, responsibility, and sincerity. We can be counted on to do the right thing. Another principle is interconnectedness. And to be interconnected is to recognize that we need each other to succeed and include the courage to transcend one's own view and perspective by seeing things through the eyes of another. And another principle is richness of diversity and social justice. Diversity and social justice are grounded in the belief that differences in people and diverse points of view are valuable, and that everyone can make a difference. It also includes appreciating the multiple identities and subjectivities that each of us bring to the educational enterprise. We embody belief in diversity and justice when we are inclusive of people. We recognize our similarities through our humanity. We embrace our differences through mutual respect, and we move beyond tolerance and acceptance to active support and advocacy. So I just turned 27 last Friday, and I actually already have my bachelor's, but I came to Chaffey College for a second start. Through the faculty, advisors, and organizations that I have become involved with in the past year, which include being the senior editor for the Chief Review and being a journalist for The Breeze, I am fortunate to have discovered my passion for writing and to be able to perfect my craft from the start to be successful in my career path. However, there were certain remarks that concerned me as a student and as a journalist that were made in the previous meeting. And one of them was that student journalists have the responsibility to be accurate, which I do agree with. I have covered events such as the music benefit concert, which most of you had attended when our tourist interval came through, the Veterans Center, and as also Professor Jerry Roussel's advertising class, and they're involved with the EOPS program on campus. And I do believe that it is my job to be accurate because I do want to promote the best image of Chaffey College because that is my job. However, the further comments continue to be made where it disturbs you as an educator on things that were seen, said, and done, and that also that the student journalists have an agenda. And also, other comments are made that we have a heck of respect of our elders and to listen and to shut your mouth and to learn something. However, last semester the Chaffey Breeze was, the Chaffey Review was being censored, but we publish work from the students and from authors and artists who are local, national, and also international. And if we left that censorship on the book, then the reputation of the book, as well as the contributors to the book, as well as the work that the students have done to be able to publish their book, it wouldn't have given us a good reputation. So we spoke up because that's what we believe in our work. And also, I feel that if I don't say
Can I remind
something.
you hit your 3 minutes. You've reached your 3-minute limit.
Okay.
If you can wrap up, please appreciate it.
Okay. And also, if I don't say what I do believe in as a student journalist, like I do believe that you guys do good work and that you have a lot of dedication and energy and work into what you do. But, and I'm not discrediting that, but my work has been discredited. So in order to be aligned with the principles that were part of student success, I would like to have a sense of accountability and a sense of clarity, and I would like to know that as a student as well. Thank you.
Next speaker card I have is from Mark Gibney. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes. Mark Evans. Mr. George, I appreciate in the hallway the recognition of knowing me as counselor. Even though I've never represented myself as an attorney, I'm not here as an attorney. It feels like a step up from wingnut, though. It seems like this wingnut might be contagious. President Shannon's remarks at your last meeting gave me a clearer picture of what's going on. He reprimanded Caduto for being seen with an opposition candidate. He tried hard to convince Caduto not to make an endorsement. He expected Caduto to obey one of his elders, to listen, to keep his doggone mouth shut. Caduto went ahead and made his endorsement. I'll bet President Shannon was just steaming. Because, he even talked about that at the last meeting, how he gets angry. Caduto's chair was removed from the governing board table at the community meeting long before the ASCC ever got involved in this continuing retaliation, before they were drawn into it. President Shannon, apparently still steaming, went to a meeting of the ASCC and started the removal of Caduto from office. The Breeze quoted one student as saying his presence at the meeting was not to inform or caution, but to threaten. Caduto got removed from office. The administration has said the ASCC acted independently. But when reporters from the Breeze asked members of the campus council for comments, many said they did not have permission. That kind of response really doesn't support your claim that they acted independently and without influence. Nobody believes that. It's very clear what happened here. I'm not saying that each of you individually, directly bullied, disciplined, and then removed Caduto from office, but it started with those phone calls that President Shannon mentioned that he got from his governing board members about Caduto's campaigning and it making it awkward for him was the term that was used in the paper. And it rolled downhill from there. Now, were all of you involved? I don't know that either. But if any one of you was not involved, it's time to step up and show that leadership quality that each of you advertise at election time, because the members of the governing board have board policies that prohibit them and employees from using district services to urge the defeat of any candidate, including any candidate for governing board. And governing board members making phone calls to President Shannon about Caduto's campaign and his resultant actions and services, I think that's a violation of the board policies. The exposure to civil liability that it creates to the district is also just completely unwarranted. The sad thing is, if you're not going to do anything about this, you're probably just going to get better at it. Thank you.
Next speaker request I have is from Carlotta Bohan.
Hi, my name is Carla Bohan. I'm Vice President of the CC here at Chaffey College. And I came here both as a representative of students, as myself as a student, because I have been really concerned about things that have been happening lately and drama that has been happening in ASCC leaking out into the governing board. When none of it is your fault at all. You guys have had nothing to do with this, and I understand that, and I just want you to know that not all students think that, and that there is a great group of students, and especially ones in Chino where I work and I talk to, that really appreciate everything you guys do for us. All the programs you do, the nursing program, it's #1 in the nation. It's amazing. Our success centers, they've been rated really high, and a lot of it has been because of the governing board here at Chaffey. And I want you to know that personally I respect you and I trust each and every one of you in all your decisions and everything that you do, because I know what you've done for Chaffey so far has been so amazing and just so incredible, that you've been helping students just graduate every year, and the graduation rates have been getting better. And I want to thank you for that, and thank you for being volunteers in this, because I know this is not something you guys have to do, and everything that is affecting you, you guys don't have to deal with, but you stay here and you work with us and you help us students. And I really appreciate that, especially representing students, because I really care about them. And I really want them all to succeed, and I know that's all what we want. And each and every one of you are working on that. And I just want to thank you so much for being here right now, instead of like having fun and going out to dinner, just sitting at this meeting and listening to us and just paying attention to us and always considering us, even though the things you do might go hidden and we might not actually realize how much you guys actually do for us. And the thing is, I want you to know that I realize that, and I know many other students do too, and faculty, so just thank you so much.
Chris Smith.
Sadly, I am here to express the most dismal disappointment regarding the recent events surrounding the ASCC and the illegal removal of Kevin Caduto. I am appalled at the lack of transparency and accountability for the violations of the Brown Act that have taken place. From the beginning, if President Caduto's actions were truly grievous enough to justify removal, then the rationale for such a course of action should have been made crystal clear to the public. The level of sheer contempt towards standard inquiries into these events from Advisor Machado has been disconcerting, to say the least. I have personally witnessed him demean and combat students when basic inquiries have been made. Advisor Machado's Facebook statement that he made was also packed with several serious and disturbing miscitations of Supreme Court case law that have left me, as a criminal justice major, with a pervasive sense of unease regarding his ability to accurately and sensibly apply law rather than interpret it arbitrarily. He has also attempted to shroud his silence on any and all matters pertaining to this under the specter of non-existent litigation. Advisor Machado has objectively proven himself to be incapable of properly advising ASCC. This brings me to ASCC Senator Corey Stevens. His failure to control himself while commenting on Facebook posts, which are considered to be public speech, are disgraceful. If his allegations against Caduto, including the juvenile charge that he, quote, lies like a rug, do not fit the criteria for a violation of Article 3, then I do not know what does. And furthermore, if Article 3 states clearly that, quote, officers shall be removed from office for non-fulfillment of official decorum, and it does, then I have to question why he has not been disciplined for embarrassing the student body he represents and for assassinating Caduto's character without evidence. The fact that the dean of this college ordered the student trustee, ASCC president, to sit separately severely disappoints me. And I consider this breach of decorum to be an embarrassment and a failure of leadership. Perhaps if our political leaders were arranged this way, then congressional lunchrooms might resemble prison yards in their sheer segregation and general atmosphere of ill will. We look to you for leadership and integrity, not petty public manifestations of personal distaste. There's been much talk of moving on. However, I can assure you that there will be no moving on until accountability is taken. Nobody responsible for any of this has properly articulated the true magnitude of the actions taken. If President Caduto's impeachment and removal had not been challenged, his transfer chances to the educational institution of his choice and ability could have been severely hindered and his life could have been severely derailed. I have not heard one single person take accountability for that. Perhaps certain administration members feel vindicated by the election's results, and congratulations on your re-election. However, I assure you there is nothing to feel vindicated about when our college leadership has now garnered a reputation as a political body that breaks the law, nearly ruins and derails lives, and fails to take responsibility for it. The reputation of college leadership has sadly fallen into disrepair. As a student who has deep love and respect for this institution and post my yes, sir. Post my 20-year career in law enforcement, I personally want to be a professor and teach here at this institution. I am crestfallen by these events, and I do not feel served by any of this. Thank you for your time.
Next request is from Zafar Inman.
My name is Zephyr Inam, and first of all, I want to congratulate Ms. Kathleen Berger and Ms. Katie Roberts for re-election. And I am the candidate that Kevin endorsed, so I'm here to kind of put this to rest and say that someone has to take accountability for what happened to Kevin, so we can move on. And I know sometimes we might not agree with everything that the other person believes in, but I think it's important that we respect their freedom of speech and have accountability and make sure that this issue gets put to rest. Thank you.
Patrick Jimenez.
Thank you. I'm honored to speak before all of you and humbled and grateful for this opportunity. Congratulations to members Roberts and Ruger for your re-election, as well as to all the officers who are appointed today. I'm here speaking as a student who would like to see better communication between our administration, faculty, and students, and to represent what I believe is a sincere sentiment of concern over certain events that have happened. Specifically, the advisor for the ASCC, John Machado, and his flagrantly unprofessional behavior towards members of the ASCC, which he is supposed to advise, as well as students in general. His behavior, which I believe was recorded, was bullying and degrading, as well as unprofessional. I think it is important that we are always able to disagree with each other and to state so bluntly and honestly. However, I think that sort of failure to handle oneself as an adult is very saddening and sends a very wrong message, especially when the perception, at least, is that the administration is not so concerned with the behavior of John Machado and how he treats students, whereas it appears that the administration is much more focused on Kevin Caduto or students that they believe they may have more direct control over. I've reached out to Dr. Shannon and I have not received any responses. The reason why it is so troubling to students, and with all due respect to Ms. Bohan, though she may represent the very positive sentiments that students have, we are grateful to you for your work and dedication. I do not believe that Ms. Bohan's remarks represent the majority of students when she tries to imply that we're not concerned about this. If you go into the college campus, I assure you, virtually all students are very, very troubled by what they see as a lack of transparency. It's not necessarily that students support Kevin Caduto or that certainly that students have anything against the members of the board. It is that the students believe that there is something being hidden when Dr. Shannon and others repeatedly say that the breeze is inaccurate, yet refuse to point out exactly what is inaccurate so that that can be resolved. It does create a high level of suspicion, right? Because if there are specific things that have been reported, specific things that have been said, that are not true by the Chaffey Breeze. The Chaffey Breeze should be corrected, and certainly as a student who is not a part of the Breeze but reads the Breeze, I believe I do have some sort of a right to accurate information. And so I think it would be a great service if Dr. Shannon corrected anything. I'll end there. Thank you very much.
All right, next speaker request card is from Ryan Jaluz. Was I close?
Gillis,
That's close.
thank you for trying.
What is it, afternoon? Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the board. Thank you for letting me speak with you today. Members of the public. My name is Ryan Galouse. I am the reporter for The Breeze, who's been covering the ASCC beat. And I'm here, I have some concerns, and some of them have been voiced already, so I'm going to keep it as brief as possible. There have been statements made in public about an inaccurate reporting by reporters. I am the only reporter on this story. So there are statements being made about the inaccuracy of my reports, about my articles, and I've had to find out through reading emails, through listening to recordings of public meetings. I've attempted to reach some of the people making the statements many times. I've not gotten any phone calls back. I've stopped in personally. I've not received any calls back. I've sent emails. I've not received any back. And I just want to let you guys know I'm on the same page. It's all about education for the students. It's really all about keeping integrity. And I think there's an issue when we cannot communicate with one another. So I just want to invite everybody here, if you have a question about the accuracy of the Breeze, any articles that I've personally written, my door's open. I've sent out, from my end, I've attempted to contact many of you. And if you have a concern, I just want to let you guys know my door is open. Thank you.
Lance Macanano? I know that wasn't even close.
Good enough, doctor. Hit it right on there. Good evening, JP Board of Governors and Trustees and Dr. Shannon. I'm here to speak on behalf of the actions of the ASCC and the commotion here at Chaffey College. My name is Lance Macanano. I am also a student trustee for the Cerritos College. Yes, I've come a long way. I'm sorry, I apologize, I had a cold. But I'd just like to say that as a veteran and also as a student in our community college system, I'd just like to say that this is unacceptable. I feel that this board, I know that there are other things that you must do for this college, but Chaffey College right now, if this goes further, Chaffey College will perhaps not have a reputation that you would desire. And I'm sorry, but I just came from the league conference in San Francisco, and this was a very hot topic. Okay, so what is happening here now is unacceptable. I please ask that all of you investigate to your fullest capacity and please end this. As you can see, the student body is torn, student success is in jeopardy, and all I have to say is that I know Kevin personally, I work with him personally, I'm from Region 8, but I do work with Region 9, and he does so much for students. Some of you know what he does, and some of you don't. But I'm gonna tell you that this man, if he was in combat with me as a veteran, I would trust this man with my life, and I would give him my life if I had to. So I'm just here to say, please do what you can to stop this. I know the Breeze is reporting to the best of its knowledge, but please get to the bottom of this so that Chaffey College can be the star that it should be in the California community college system. So I have to say, thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen.
Madinha Khan?
Like various other students, I'm here regarding the various controversies over the past year and the disrespect towards Chaffey College students and the lack of accountability by the governing board and administration. I feel that we as students shouldn't have to silence ourselves or be intimidated just because of your slight discomfort, such as in the withdrawal of the Chaffey Review or matters regarding the actions of our student government because of intimidation. Your positions are to serve students and Chaffey College, but when students and speakers come to address their concerns, we're labeled as being misinformed or giving off half-truths, and I feel that's extremely rude towards what we feel should be addressed. In regards to the matter of AACC, I demand that someone take responsibility over the closed meetings and removal of President Codito that were both illegal under the Brown Act. I'm actually surprised that those were allowed to continue going on until someone was informed of the consequences that could happen. I would also like to refer to the last meeting in which Dr. Shannon spoke about being respectful, but was actually anything about it. And he was condescending in rebuking President Codito and also implying that the Breeze was sufficiently misinformed, but what would be expected if they're not giving the information that they require with lack of communication. I think that respect for one's elders is very important, but I also feel that respect for one's position should be as well, and one shouldn't go into a meeting and try to be intimidating towards someone in front of his peers and his subordinates. And this is actually my last semester at Chaffey College, and as I transfer, I really hope to tell everybody about my wonderful 3 years that I've spent here, but it's going to be a little difficult with everything that's happened so far. And although I've had wonderful experiences, I would definitely feel like this darkening some of them too. Thank you.
The last card I have, I don't know if there are any others. Okay. To Lenore? Talia? I don't see anyone coming forward. Or I've completely butchered her name, or his name.
Talia?
All right. I have no other speaker request cards. Are there any over there, Doctor?
No.
Okay. Appreciate the people attending the meeting this afternoon and presenting their views, taking the time out of their schedules to let us know how they feel. And we will take note of the comments made to the board. And we shall continue with our agenda. The next item on the agenda would be community linkages. We'll start with the governing board. Our student trustee, Kevin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to submit our report here. Let's see, over the week of November 19th, the International Student Center had their International Student Week. They had 2 great events I was able to attend. Let's see. Lots of clubs on campus, holiday student organizations have had their potlucks that they've been holding, and I was able to attend many of those. Let's see, also attended the football game, our last football game, which was pretty incredible. It was a great season. And I've been working with members on campus for the 2014 student discount card. It's going to be a great card. We'll have that by the beginning of the spring semester. And also I'd like to mention that the 22nd Night with Santa has just begun currently right now, and I invite everyone to stop by after it's over in the student activities office. And it's a wonderful event. And I did submit my report via email regarding what was discussed last session over the past 4 months and what was mentioned today. And I again would like to thank all the speakers who have come today. They've sent very, very wise. Thank you.
Mr. Gomez.
Yes, I submitted to you earlier my community linkages report. I'd just like to focus on 1 or 2. I attended, as I said, the CCLC annual convention in Burlingame last month, well actually this month, last month, November. And again, as I said, I did attend the one dealing with baccalaureate degrees, what is California's future. And as I said, we need to remain open to all possibilities. And again, I'm pleased that the Chancellor's Office has included as many constituent groups as possible, and that will result in a good decision, or good decisions. I also attended an accreditation outcomes session, leading change, professional development strategies to improve accreditation outcomes, which was interesting. Also, I had a chance to plan one up, or just to attend a path to transfer update on the implementation of SB 1440. I'm sure you're all aware of that. And I brought back with me a chart that gives you a district by district count as to the progress of different community colleges in California. Let's see, this was as of 11/15/2013, and this indicates that at that time Chaffey College had 19 as a target by fall 2014. And 19, and it had implemented 15 of those. However, in our agenda tonight, there's an additional one, journalism, right? Okay, so we can bump that one up. But just to give you kind of an idea of the progress of this district, you know, it's progressivism, how it progresses. There were some districts who had a total of what was it? Two. I mean, that's not being serious, right?
I don't think so.
So anyway, I was quite pleased, you know, as a trustee of this board for this district to have received this report, which indicates to me that our faculty and administration and everyone else involved is really on top of what is really important. And that is to do what we can to ensure that students who come to Chaffey are able to enroll in the classes they need, if they so need, in order to transfer. So that's good. This is a good report card, a very good report card.
Dr. you want to mention the work for the faculty and staff?
I'd be happy to. President McDougall, Dr. Shannon, members of the board. Our faculty really have been leading the charge and have been very responsive to all of the transfer degrees. And one of the more exciting ones that's not officially part of that is under the leadership of David Karp and Joy Herons. We're putting together a proposal with the State Bar to have 2 years of community college, 2 years out of 4-year, and then entry into law school. So we've just submitted that application, and we're hoping to be one of the colleges picked to participate in that initiative.
Okay. But anyway, I wanted to bring that to the attention of the governing board because I want you to know that your work, your hard work, along with Dr. Shannon and those that he directs are in fact doing something very important in meeting the needs of our community. I also, this is kind of interesting. Imperial Valley College, they had a session on collective fiscal vision. Evidently, Imperial Valley College was in serious financial difficulties. And working, this is internally, and then with an outside consulting group, they were able to work their way out of this financial crisis. And a large part of that was because the employees in the district stepped up, so to speak, and said, hey, we have an issue here, we're all part of it, let's see what we can do together to solve this. And they're very pleased with the result of their work, and I thought it was very, very, it was good that people working together in an organization like ours can solve almost any problem. I also attended a session on creating a STEM center to support and accelerate STEM student success. the college, Kenyatta College created a center and put a focus on STEM programs, and I forwarded the workshop slides to Dr. Shannon and to Dr. Guerrero. What appealed to me was not only, that there's a central place facility on campus that focuses on STEM, but also how active they were in bringing together resources, different grants, and how much easier it was for them, for this college, to attract grants because the grant was focused on something specific, STEM, right? And then they reached out and were working with different companies in the community, to make this a real viable, operation. Anyway, perhaps Dr. Shannon, the board could receive a report on top of this one in that particular area to see if in fact, maybe we're doing it and maybe we call it something else. Maybe there's something here that I missed, but it seems to me that it's an opportunity to learn from another model that's in existence. And then finally, I attended a session on undocumented students, challenges and resources for community college students. This was done primarily by Modesto Junior College. Modesto Junior College, as you all know, is in the Central Valley, and they do have they do serve a lot of undocumented students. And the question, of course, was how do we design our institution, so to speak, to first understand that there are undocumented students, and then secondly, what can we do to help with the success, of their education. So I found that particular session, personally very meaningful. So that concludes my report.
Mrs. Bruder.
Thank you. A couple of things. I attended the International Holiday Luncheon, which was absolutely wonderful, and you got to meet the students from throughout the world that do attend, and I'm always honored that they continue to come to Chaffey College and want to come to Chaffey College. They're from Kenya, Nigeria, wherever they're from, China, wherever, that they do get to the flavor of we in America and what we can do and what we try to do to make sure of the success of our students. So I'm always wonderfully pleased with that. Yeah?
No.
No? Oh, you go ahead.
No, I'm listening to you.
Oh.
I'm listening to you. I'm sorry,
No, that's okay. I thought maybe you wanted to say something more. And the Classified Senate Annual Holiday Luncheon, oh my gosh, that is the treat of the year to go to. That is just amazing. And Tricia and all your elves that are there to help, having staff, there to serve. Awesome, just absolutely awesome. So thank you all for all you do on that. It's just amazing. And yes, you do look to see if you won something, and we do. It's wonderful. And no, Gary, I could not believe it. Again, twice in a row to win the iPad. We're gonna think about this one. But he graciously,
Thank you very much.
yes, you did. Yes, you did. Somebody else got to take it, and you said, no, that was enough. One is enough. Thank you. The photo display. I like the fact that it was down in the lobby here and that I could take the time to see that. And I don't always understand photography, but that's okay. It's the fact that I had the opportunity to see what the students' success is with photography. So thank you all for those of you that did participate in that. And I know that's Arden's passion to make sure that this happens. Then Assistance League, a lot of you may or may not know, but Assistance League does help our students, and I represented us at Assistance League on Sunday, and it represents the students within our districts who need to have, whether it's dental care, whether it has to do with clothing, shoes, whatever. And so there's Operation School Bell as well as the dental assisting to get that done for the students in our area. And I think it's wonderful, and Gary pointed this out. On the 18th, the ADN will be celebrating its 100th anniversary. And yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there, along with the LVN. Now, I don't know what the anniversary is of the LVN, but I know that we've had that for many, many years also. So congratulations to those students. Congratulations. And that's everything I was going to say.
Ms. Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I attended the Travelers Aid Christmas party. Travelers Aid is an organization of about 90 people, all volunteers, that work out of the airport and help travelers who get lost between point A and point B. But they also take in stranded travelers or battered women or families in need and provide services to them. I attended the West End Family Counseling Christmas party. That organization provides low-cost or free medical attention and mental attention to people in this whole area. I attended the foundation luncheon yesterday, which was a lovely event, and the classified luncheon, which is the delight of the year. And finally, they sent me to Burlingame to watch Paul to CCLC and attended some of the same classes. And one of the things that they do or talked about in the last one, for students that are undocumented, they have centers on the campus where they can go and get advice, and that was really good to hear. And finally, the one that I was most interested in was put on by Santa Monica Community College, and they were, if you recall, about a year ago, the victim of violent shooting on a campus with a lot of students and staff injured or dead. They had never prepared for anything because they were Santa Monica, and that just wouldn't happen in Santa Monica. They have now created this booklet that goes to every student, every faculty member. It has all the information on what to do and when, and hopefully they do before and not after. But it's amazing. You can't imagine what happens on a campus like that when this guy's running from one end to the other, shooting people. So the whole campus became a crime scene, and they had to lock down all the students and the staff, find ways to feed them and segregate them and interview them, and still start the next semester 3 days later. And I brought one of these for Mr. President and one for Lisa and one for our chief. And that's my report.
Thank you. Mr. George.
Mr. President, I was privileged to attend the Boy Scouts Distinguished Citizens Dinner recognizing Dr. Lauren Sanchez. Also attended the Chaffey College Workforce Training Institute Trainer Appreciation Dinner, and great job, Kathy Detton, if you're out there. It was really well done, and really an excellent partnership with the business community that Chaffey had. I also attended the CCLC session in Burlingame. The reason I usually go to those is to try to sit in on as many legislative sessions as I possibly can, so that I can be prepared for their legislative session in Sacramento, and learning about some laws that are so detrimental to community colleges. It's scary, like AB 1725. I also represented Chaffey at the Pomona Valley Vietnamese Community Feed the Homeless Dinner the weekend before Thanksgiving. I was privileged to sit in on a session on creative writing and the lemming theory. Also, the International Student Holiday Luncheon, really well done. That's always fun to meet the international students. And right after that, I got an email from Arden talking about the photo display. I couldn't make the one up here, but I made the one at the theater. It's phenomenal. Your students do a great job with the photography at Chaffey. The classified Senate Holiday Luncheon was great as usual. Sorry, I just keep on winning. What can I tell you? You're pulling the, well, actually, Gwen pulled the ticket last time. Yes. And I just want to clarify something. Both of those iPads went back. Okay? Let's see. Okay, I also attended the CAC meeting with the Chim Institute for Women, which is one of my passions, and met the new warden And happy to report, and I already talked to Dr. Guerrero. I hadn't had a chance to talk with Laura Hope yet, but the new warden is very excited about the program. The last two interim wardens have not been that excited about the program. We've been fighting tooth and nail to keep it there. The new warden is very excited about it, is anxious to meet with Laura Hope and get the ball rolling in, because we've got a cohort going. We need to keep the momentum going. Also attended the Chaffey Foundation Holiday Luncheon. It was almost recognized by Sid, but but my cohorts, they were recognized. But I was sitting behind a big guy. I'm sorry, Sid did the same thing. He got excited. And right now, we're supposed to be attending an our quarterly RDA meeting in Chino, but this took precedence. That's my report.
Thank you.
President,
yes.
I have an addition to my report, the International Student Holiday Luncheon.
You were there.
Yeah, I was there too.
Yeah, you were.
And as usual, it was outstanding, so yeah, please include that in my report. Thank you.
Allow me to offer my public apology to the classified Senate for attending their event. It was over at 1, I think I got there at 1:02. And they fed me, they took care of me, the food was excellent. I heard everyone had a lovely time. I do apologize for being tardy. It wasn't a family matter, it wasn't something taken lightly. Okay. All right, legislative update.
Could I make a comment, please, before we go there? As the faculty representative, I want to say, without commenting on the content or responding to the questions the students raised, that I'm tremendously proud of them. There's a sense that students have been apathetic in the last few years, and for their courage and for their energy, and they were very articulate in their statements. So I want to say, as a faculty member, I'm proud of them. And I hope we can live up to the communication that they hope to receive.
Legislative update.
Members of the board, Dr. Shannon, and I will step forward and give the report.
Thank you. President McDougall, board members, Dr. Shannon. Brief report. I want to make a couple highlights of some of the open house and the invitations that we got from some of our elected officials. Office of Assemblyman Mark Morrell reached to my office and expressed a message of happy holiday greetings and holidays for you all. He's looking forward to continue working with Chaffey College and creating whatever laws he needs to move forward. From the office of Senator Bob Hawk, he's having an open house and a legislative update scheduled for December 18th. Additional information can be reached at 714-671-9474. From the office of Senator Norma Torres, she's having an open house at this moment, so running all the way to 7 p.m. The same is happening with Supervisor Rutherford. Assemblywoman Sherry Brown sent an invitation for her annual Christmas event.
And Supervisor Rutherford was also is a former member of our foundation board of directors, and she's also an alumni, one of the recipients of the Alumni of the Year awards as well. 3 quick updates on the foundation. We were notified recently we received a $15,000 grant from Southern California Edison that is to be used specifically for STEM scholarships. So we're very happy and proud to continue to partner with them. Also, you might recall that a couple months ago, I mentioned an event called from the group Commercial Real Estate Women Crew. One of our foundation board members, Jean Batista, made it possible for us to be the recipients of some of the proceeds from that evening. She informed us yesterday that we will be receiving 4 Fund a Dream commitments from them as a result of that evening. So that's $4,000. And then finally, yesterday at the foundation holiday luncheon, we recognized an outstanding partner and supporter of our students and of the college through their contributions through the foundation. And we recognized Bernard's Brothers, which is the construction management firm that we have here at the college. They've been very supportive of student initiatives and scholarship efforts, and especially our golf tournament. And so we thank them for that and recognize them for their ongoing support of our students. And then I'll ask Nick Nazarian to come forward and he'll give the alumni update.
Thank you, Dr. Nato. Thank you, President Brigger, members of the board, President McDougall, and members of the board. Curveball, I haven't written already. In front of you, I've distributed the alumni office report. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. I just want to touch on a couple of quick points. On the alumni showcase, I referenced that we had completed our first of the videos. The second will be completed in the next week and being sent out, so we're looking forward to that. We received great feedback on the first series. In our marketing, you'll see some information about our Facebook and our social media. I include that. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I just want you to know that we're really analyzing the messaging that's going out and how it's being received, and it's allowing us to target our approach a little bit more effectively going forward, so we're excited about that. Next, on the Alumni of the Year Athletics Hall of Fame dinner, my update is that we do have a ballot set, and the foundation is reviewing those candidates now, and I hope to share the honorees with you next month. And then that concludes the report. I do have GradFest on there for your reference. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, reports. Closed session items?
Yes, President McDougall, members of the governing board, members of the audience. Today, during the closed personnel session, December 12th, the governing board took the following action by a 5-0 vote. Under Section D, public employment of the closed session agenda, approve items 1 through 10. Under Section E, public employee appointment of the closed session agenda, approve item 1 through 4. Under Section F, public employee discipline/dismissal/release of the closed session agenda, approve items 1 and item number 2, and that is my report.
Thank you. Consent items. We have been asked by Superintendent President to pull item 2A. G2A on the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion for the other items.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Do I hear any objections to the motion? Hearing none, the motion approved. Next item, H, the business fiscal affairs. Contract purchase order. Have a motion to move approval, second? Do I hear a second? Been moved and second. Any discussion on the motion? Any opposition to the motion? Hearing none, motion approved. Okay, item I on the agenda, CEO staff reports. Superintendent President.
Yes, you have a copy of the written report. One of the questions that had been asked was an update on the student learning outcomes. Dr. Guerrero so generously provided that. I think that our faculty and staff have done just a tremendous job, and thanks Dr. Guerrero for our leadership. You have a copy of that update in your packet. The Student Success Act, as referred to in Dr. Harris's memo, is a status report on that, and of course, that's a process that we're engaging in now. I attended the 4th annual Southern California Economic Recovery and Job Creation Summit in LA last week. It was a great event. We were well represented in the Inland Empire, and there's more to come from that, and I'll talk about some of that at the Flex program in January. You can see the other activities from Dr. Guerrero, Vice President Lisa Bailey, and the area that Dr. Neto represents. And so their report's there. I was also asked to provide a update by now President Lee McDougall on student trustee Kevin Caduto, and I want to have Eva pass it around to you to see what minutes were there. Read the report is coming around to you now. The Vice President at the time, Mr. McDougal, asked me to provide a report to the governing board today on any alleged retaliatory actions taken by members of this governing board against student trustee Kevin Judo. And as the board knows, Kevin took office in June of this year, was elected in April of this year. And I looked at the minutes as well as the agenda from June to October to today's date. And I reviewed those and found that the board took no retaliatory action against student trustee. And their report is for the record. And if you have any questions of that, that is your report.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Can I also say that, student press here at Chaffey, The Breeze, is an outstanding paper. I have a lot of respect for The Breeze, so I want to publicly acknowledge the fact that not only the awards that they won, but the protocol that they presented to me in a meeting with the editor of The Breeze, along with Dr. Neal and Lisa Nelly. So I want to say for the record, I respect the newspaper here. They done an incredible job, and so if apology is necessary, I'm apologizing if I misquoted or misstated anything that would demean the paper at all. So I'm man enough to say that. So those of you here, keep doing the great work that you're doing. I appreciate that, and we appreciate that here at Chaffey College. That's my report.
Can I ask a question? The student learning outcomes update, our score was 4.17 out of 5 possible. Focusing on I want to focus on the 4.17. What was the difference between the 4.17 versus the 5?
Why we get a perfect score?
That's it. That's it.
President McDougal, members of the board, Dr. Shannon. The whole student learning outcome proficiency issue has been a challenge for community colleges because ACCJC would not tell us, these are they would give us a rubric, but they wouldn't be very helpful on how we could implement it and make those. So in last year, each college had to provide their report to ACCJC on how they demonstrated they were proficient. Well, unbeknownst to us, ACCJC then took all of those reports from all 112 colleges and did kind of an analysis of it. And in this report, they finally say what some of the benchmarks they were asking us to hit, which they wouldn't tell us in training sessions or in other communications. So to answer your question, what would be a 5? I really don't know, because this is the first time we've ever seen what some of their criteria are for being proficient. And so we were pleased. We did have a lot of 5s in a lot of areas. There are a couple areas we knew we need work on. So our challenge moving forward is to maintain the 5s we got on the other areas of the report and make sure we've implemented processes to get the other areas up to speed, which we have.
So you finally got your answers?
Yes.
After the fact. Yes. Great. That's great. Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah. And then also just, Mr. President, just one final thing on what Dr. Shannon said about the student newspaper. I think the fact that this board tonight, I don't know if we already approved it, but anyway, I think the fact that there's new programs to study for 2013-14, and right at the top of that list is an Associate of Arts transfer, and the program of study is journalism. I think that to me indicates a high level of confidence in the outcome of spending time and energy and resources in learning about journalism and finding an occupation in that particular program of study. So I'm pleased. Thank you.
Okay, properly said. President McDougal, board members, Dr. Shannon, Timmy Hayward, fire technology professional. In November, spent 3 days in Sacramento at the California State Fire Marshal's office. And what he was doing during that time was making recommendations and validating the changes that they plan to make to the curriculum for fire technology. So representing at the state again, Chaffey Zamuka, nursing professor. Through the Health Workforce Initiative, Chaffey was asked to serve as the revision coordinator for the Certified Nursing Assistant Model Curriculum, which was associated with the Chancellor's Office of the Community Colleges. But that's two people responsible for setting curriculum in those two vocational areas coming from Chaffey College. I think that's pretty good. Joanne Oscar, Business and Office Technology Professor, attended the California Business Education Association Annual Conference in November in San Diego. She was also one of the people who organized the conference. I don't know if there's any music there. That's a different department. The Chaffey Review. At the English Council of Two-Year Community Colleges biannual conference in October, Chaffey Review won the Best Community College Creative Arts Journal in the statewide competition. That concludes my report. Thank you very much.
Very good.
Classified Senate.
President McDougall, Board Member Dr. Shannon, Paul E. George, System Specialist in Information Technology Services. On November 23rd, Paula and her cousin joined LA Lakers guard Kobe Bryant with 30,000 other participants in the United Way Home Walk 2013. She was on Kobe's team, which consisted of over 400 members, and they raised over $35,000. And they finished the walk in under an hour, and it was out in the streets of LA. Julie Sanchez, Executive Assistant to Associate Superintendent, Business Services and Economic Development. Julie participated in the PETA 2013 Topher Turkey Trot. That was Thanksgiving morning out of the Rose Bowl, which was in support of the National Museum of Animals and Society, which focuses on animal protection. Myself, accountant in business services, I volunteered at the Coca-Cola booth out in Fort Irwin at their National Training Center on Thanksgiving morning while Coca-Cola gave out to the troops and their family Coca-Cola items during the live broadcast of NFL, Fox NFL Sports. They were out there for the football games. And then this past week, Classified Senate held our annual holiday luncheon, and thank you all for attending. We raised over $2,700 to go back to student programs and other events on campus. And then we also donated $150 to the Night with Santa program tonight. That's my report.
Tricia?
Yes.
Is my sister Paula, is she all excited that Kobe's back now?
I think so.
Are they going to win the game anytime soon?
One or the other.
Okay, CSEA?
No report.
All right, CCFA?
Yes.
President McDougall, Governing Board, President Shannon, I'd like to introduce two new members of our officers to CCFA. First, I'd like to introduce Marlene Soto. She is our new Political Action Committee Chairman, Chairperson.
Hi, nice to meet everybody. I am Marlene Soto. I am in my second year of tenure track. I've been a part of Chaffey College and the Rad Tech program for many years. And I work very close with Andrea Denton, and I'm just very happy to be here in this new position. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then our new membership chair is Denise Johnson. Denise?
President McDougall, members of the board, and Dr. Shannon, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here tonight. I do have a sort of a handout for you, and also a didactic. You can count on that from an art history instructor. What's being passed around is the California Part-Time Faculty Association's a newsletter, a quarterly newsletter. On a yearly basis, the CPFA conducts a comparison of California's community colleges. And if you turn to page 5, you don't have to have it. You'll see a table that I know many faculty are eager to see every year. The table is based on the chancellor's data mart statistics available online. And one of the things that is sort of seductive is what I call the sexy column. it's the very first column of the table, and it's the way that the community colleges are organized. That is an analysis of the average pay of part-time faculty. You'll see that Chaffey College, I've highlighted it for you, we land strictly in the middle in terms of paying for part-time faculty. But what I more pointedly wanted to get to was a column that is to the right, and I've highlighted some of those numbers and also transferred them to this board. Chaffey College stands in the state as the 5th highest user of part-time faculty. So in terms of the 72 districts in the state, we use the most, and we're in 5th place. The highest offender of part-time faculty use is Mount San Jacinto College, with their headquarters in Hemet, and then another satellite campus in Menifee. Then comes a community college in San Diego Southwestern, a community college in the Bay Area, San Mateo, and then Victor Valley, which is nearby just over the mountains, and then Chaffey College 5th. Our percentage as estimated by the CPFA using the Chancellor's data mart is 54.14%. Part-time faculty, which would mean that there's a majority of part-time faculty teaching at Chaffey College. Of course, this relates closely to the faculty obligation number. So I also collected Chaffey's faculty obligation numbers for the last 5 years. Our current one, and I know this is a report that was just recently given to the Chancellor's office, the faculty obligation number is at 189.8. As reported on the table, we currently have 216. The actual head count is 199, and I can't account for the disparity in numbers there.
Should be 199?
Yeah, that's my head count, counting mailboxes and schedule, correlating it with the schedule of classes. So our faculty obligation number is about 190 faculty, and it has gone down in the last 5 years. And of course, this is because of budget cuts, as well as because of the faculty obligation number being frozen. So it was frozen in 2009, 2010, and 2011 at 200, and then it's gone down since. So projecting from this, it appears as though our use of part-time faculty will only increase in the upcoming years. And I'd like to draw this to your attention as a point of concern.
I have a question. Maybe I misunderstood. Did you say offenders? You were offenders?
Yeah, we're one of the worst offenders, unfortunately. And so we're sort of in finishing the race.
So we're like a middle offender?
No, we're not a middle offender. In fact, the statewide average is 44%, so our use of part-time faculty is well above the statewide average.
So we're not really in the middle of this thing?
We're in the middle in terms of pay to our part-time faculty that we use.
If you look at the page, this page right here, page 5, you see down at the bottom, it says statewide average 64.99, and this says Chaffey 65.86. So we're above by a tiny bit the average, right here.
Yeah.
In terms of pay.
Yeah. So we're talking about two things. We're talking about the pay, and then we're talking about the number.
Yeah.
You know, so we're talking about two different things.
Right.
I'm sorry.
And I'm not here to negotiate either, but you know, we were presenting this information, and I'm trying to understand what was presented here.
There's, okay, we have been presenting the information, I understand it. What is it that you want us to do with it?
I know that student success is of highest importance, and study after study shows that student success is affected by hours spent with faculty members. And because part-time faculty are here part-time, I thought that this would be of interest to you in terms of student success.
I understand those words, I understand what you just said. But in there somewhere, you're suggesting we have too many part-time faculty and we need more full-time faculty. I need someone to come out and say that so I can understand it. So you're not saying that, okay.
She's just providing information.
Yeah, exactly.
She's providing information so we can make better decisions, how's that?
They're giving
Well,
us information.
I don't know how I can make a better decision.
If you don't have the money, yeah.
You know, you can tell me that this is not a good decision that we have now. Somebody has to say this is broken and it needs to be fixed. Or I don't like it, here are the reasons why. I'm not hearing that.
Right, well.
And now is not the time and place for that to happen. I understand that.
No, but, the contention has been that if we're about student success, and the contention is that students do better with full-time faculty for all kinds of reasons, then I have to listen to that. But then I also have in the back of my head that there are part-time faculty members that are just as effective as others. I mean,
And I'm also hearing that.
Yeah, I value that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
CDCFA.
We missed that argument. You
Board
did.
comments, requests for future agenda items, and other matters. Kevin, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to reiterate again just put it on record that this room was completely full with those some concerned with some of the recent actions, and I'm not sure if the board has ever had this many people in the room, on the floor, in the hallways, addressing their concerns. This isn't about me. This isn't about the Chaffey breeze. This is a much bigger issue here. It's my job here. I'm able to sit on the board to raise these issues, and this is where I'm not part of the marketing department to say the good things about Chaffey, although I could spend a week talking about the good things about Chaffey. But there has been some serious concerns you saw in my report, and I would like acknowledgement from the board. I'm glad to see Dr. Shannon apologize for some of the comments that he had made about the Chaffey breeze, but there's still many huge issues here, and I'm incredibly proud of the group that's here, and I hope everyone understands this isn't going to leave when I leave. The students at Chaffey College have a new precedent set for their advocacy, and they'll fill up this entire building if they need to. So and amid my report that was delivered via email, if there's any corrections that need to be made with that, if there's anything here that's not true, and I've raised some very serious concerns, I'd like someone to tell me what I've done wrong, why I was removed, and why there wasn't any accountability being held. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Gomez.
Just a reminder that we'll be meeting at our annual board retreat on Saturday, June 24th, 2014.
January.
January.
I hope it is.
Besides the fact that it's not Saturday, June. it's
Okay,
Friday
all right,
again.
Mr. George, I understand, okay? Friday.
It's okay.
Anything else? Ms. Brugger?
Nothing? I have nothing?
Robert?
But thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, I have one thing. The speakers that came today, I agree with Arden 100%. I was rather impressed with the delivery. And that they had the courage to stand up and say what they said. And it took me back to being in college back in the 70s, early 70s, like 60s. And I admire and appreciate the students for doing that. But Dr. Shannon, could you have someone list the complaints as they were given by the speakers and get those to us? Somehow take out the editorial comments, the hurt feelings, and just the meat of what the issue is, so we can have that, please. I mean, I took some notes, but I was trying to listen and take notes, and I don't know how accurate my note take would be. And I think if we all had the same thing, and we can go back and look at that, I think that'd be helpful for moving forward.
Thanks to Ms. Ramirez, she's got accurate.
But excuse me, Mr. President, we have to also be a little bit cautious here because I heard names of employees used, okay? And those employees, it seems to me, have a right to present their position. They do. So I would caution
I appreciate what you're saying, Mr. Gomez. My intent, let me put my intent out there, maybe we can
Sure.
build this thing
Sure.
together. I'm trying to isolate the real issues, the things that is an issue, there's something broken and it needs to be fixed. We need to attend to something. I cannot attend to hurt feelings. I can put my arm around you and tell you I love you, and that's all I can do. But if there's something I can fix, I need to know what it is. I have to understand it in order to fix it, and that's what I want.
Agree. I agree.
That's what I'm looking for. Anything else for the good of the order? If not, I will adjourn the meeting, and thank you all for being here.
Have a happy holiday. Safe travel.